The Upanishads, translated by Max Muller, in two parts. Part 1, Transliteration of Oriental Alphabets. The system of transcribing Oriental words with Roman types adopted by the translators of the sacred books of the East is on the whole the same which I first laid down in my proposals for a missionary alphabet, 1854, and which afterwards I shortly described in my lectures on the Science of Language, second series, page 169, 9th edition. That system allows of great freedom in its application to different languages and has, therefore, recommended itself to many scholars, even if they had long been accustomed to use their own system of transliteration. And these languages are important because they convey material and sacred things that perhaps wouldn't be conveyed if we were only left with the translation. And the Bible's not the only text in which translation has been the only thing left of some of its parts. And you know what I mean? It wasn't the people who originally conveyed that aspect of the tradition. Our claim of revelation or inspiration was, it was in a different language. It rests, in fact, on a few principles only, which may be applied to individual languages according to the views which each character has formed for himself of the character and the pronunciation of the vowels and consonants of any given alphabet. It does not differ essentially from the standard alphabet proposed by Professor Lepsius. It only endeavors to realize by means of the ordinary types which are found in every printing office what my learned friend has been enabled to achieve. It may be in a more perfect manner by means of a number of new types with diacritical marks cast expressly for him by the Berlin Academy. The general principles of what, on account of its easy application to all languages, I have called the missionary alphabet are these. 1. No letters are to be used which do not exist in ordinary fonts. 2. The same Roman type is always to represent the same foreign letter, and the same foreign letter is always to be represented by the same Roman type. 3. Simple letters are, as a rule, to be represented by simple compounded by compound types. 4. It is not attempted to indicate the pronunciation of foreign languages, but only to represent foreign letters by Roman types, leaving the pronunciation to be learnt as it is now from grammars or from conversation with natives. 5. The foundation of every system of transliteration must consist of classification of the typical sounds of human speech. Such classification may be more or less perfect, more or less minute, according to the objects in view. For ordinary purposes, the classification in vowels and consonants, and of the consonants again in gutturals, dentals, labials, suffices. In these three classes we distinguish hard, not voiced, and sonant voices, consonants, each being liable to aspiration, nasals, sibilants, and semivowels, some of these also being either voiced or not voiced. 6. After having settled the typical sounds, we assign to them as much as possible the ordinary Roman types of the first class. 7. We then arrange in every language which possesses a richer alphabet all remaining letters according to their affinities as modifications for the nearest typical letters or as letters of the second and third class. Thus, linguals in Sanskrit are treated as nearest to the dentals, palatals, to gutturals. 8. The manner of expressing such modifications is uniform throughout, while all typical letters of the first class are expressed by Roman types. Modified letters of the second class are expressed by italics. Modified letters of the third class are expressed by italics. By small capitals. Only in extreme cases where another class of modified types is wanted, we are compelled to have recourse either to diacritical marks or to a different fount of types. 9. Which letters in each language are to be considered as primary, secondary, or tertiary may, to a certain extent, be left to the discretion of the individual scholars. And a lot of that actually is in the mythology. It's not just Kabbalah that mythologically uses the language as a structure. 10. As it has been found quite impossible to devise any practical alphabet that should accurately represent the pronunciation of words, the missionary alphabet, by not attempting to indicate minute shades of pronunciation, has at all events the advantage of not misleading readers in their pronunciation of foreign words. An italic T, for example, or a small capital T serves as simply a warning that this is not the ordinary T, although it has some affinity with it. How it is to be pronounced must be learnt for each language, as it now is, from a grammar or otherwise. Thus, T in Sanskrit is a lingual T. How that is to be pronounced we must learn from the Pratisakyas, or from the mouth of a highly educated Srotriya. We shall then learn that its pronunciation is really that of what we call the ordinary dental T, as in town, while the ordinary dental T in Sanskrit has a pronunciation of its own, extremely difficult to acquire for Europeans. 10. Words or sentences which used to be printed in italics are spaced. And so we have the gutturals and the media, the aspiratia, the nasalis, lenus asperfecus, lenus focalis, lenus fracitus. So we're seeing the breakdown of the language in this diagram here. Semivocals, spiritus asper, lenus asper acibilatus, lenus acibilatus, tenuis aspirata, media, nasals, semivowels, mollis 1, mollis 2. Well, one has seen the diagram. But more appropriate to this, we have the approximate pronunciation of the Roman letters as representing the Sanskrit alphabet, and the proper names have been frequently left in their ordinary spelling. Example, Rajendra instead of Ragendra. In other words, which have almost become English, the diacritical marks have become omitted. Example, the Rigveda instead of Rigveda, Brahman instead of Brahmana, Confucius, Zoroaster, Quran, etc. And so, yeah, we have these vowels that are just, e, re, ri, le, li. Of course, we have the L as a cerebral. See, that's what I would have thought as different, because typically in Sanskrit transliterations you see the dot below as a cerebral, where if it's an Arabic transliteration of the Arabic, the dot below is and you drop the sound to use the throat more, and of course the top of the mouth instead of s, but yeah, they have that particular, so consonants, your typical K's and G's and N's and H's, they have 4 different N's, by the way. And, your dental sounds. And so there's the difference here. Of course, the L listed, is pretty much the same L as over in the vowels. And the linguals, th and the and sh and that sort of thing.